to just talk a bit about alternative provision for children with mental health problems, just moving away from exclusions, because we've had written evidence to this committee on our recent joint inquiry with the Health Select Committee that children are telling us, one children has told us that education is the cause of my anxiety, exams, fear of failure. Another child has told us that she feels there was no hope for the future while she was sitting her exams at school. And as you know, 1 in 10 young people have a mental health problems. Do you accept or do you recognise that the current exam system, the current testing system is actually driving anxiety problems in our young children and contributing to many of those young children having to drop out of mainstream education altogether?
I do think there's a very serious mental health issue amongst young people and in our school system, which is why, together with the Department for Health, we launched the Children and Young People's Mental Health Green Paper, and that will have £300 million of funding attached to it. It's about having a designated mental health lead in schools. It's about having a mental health support unit advising a cluster of schools. It's about reducing the waiting times for those with severe mental health issues in terms of an appointment with medical specialists at CAMHS and so on. So absolutely, the government takes mental health issues extremely seriously. In terms of exam pressure, we have reduced the number of exams young people are taking. There was a system with continual retakes, with bite-sized units within the GCSE, which meant that the whole of essentially year 11 and was taken up with repeated exams, and we've put a stop to that. So now young people are taking them at the end of the 2-year course, so there's plenty of time to immerse themselves into a subject rather than having to face exams the whole time. And I think that reduces pressure, not increases pressure.
I think it's also the culture of the schools as well, Minister, because it's not just children at the end. That children are not just suffering anxiety at the end of year 11. They're suffering anxiety throughout their time in schools. 11-year-olds are suffering anxiety because of Key Stage 2 SAT. The fact that the schools think it's acceptable to have a target grade stuck on the front of a child's book, which their friends can see, and they can see that they're expected from 11 years old, this is the grade you're going to get when you're 16. If you fall behind that, the pressure's on continually throughout that time. So it's much wider than just an exam pressure when you walk in that room. We're talking about the whole pressure cooker of the entire school environment. And surely, Minister, with 1 in 10 children now having a mental health problem, surely it's time to say, do we need to ease that pressure off?
Well, I accept the latter figure, but you're correlating it without evidence. It's an assertion. But in terms of the things you described happening in year 6, that doesn't come from government policy. We've repeatedly said that children should not be put under pressure when it comes to their SAT. These are not qualifications for young people. They were introduced in 1990 to hold schools account for the quality of education that they provide. And it's because of that test, that SAT that was introduced, it's been around now for nearly 30 years, that we have seen improvements in primary education in our country.